morning, everybody. Sam here, United People's TV. It's Friday. How are we all doing? Nearly the weekend. Nearly a week since the 5-0 against Liverpool. And we can hopefully bury it tomorrow with the game against Spurs. We're going to be speaking about that game against Spurs. We're going to be speaking about the team that Solskjaer is going to be putting out. But first of all, as you can see from the thumbnail, as you can see from the title down there, Brendan Rodgers is a name that is on Manchester United's shortlist. Now, it's come out this morning in a breaking bit of news from Mark Ogden from ESPN, and I'm going to run through all of it with you. Antonio Conte is the name that has been linked with Manchester United the most this week. We all know that. Erik Ten Hag is another name that's been popping up, and Zinedine Zidane. But Brendan Rodgers is a name that you can add to that list. We're going to take a look at the story, run through, break it down. I'll run through the article for you so you don't have to read it. Don't say I don't treat you very well. Obviously, today is Friday, so it's the map day on the channel. You know what happens on the map channel? On the map channel? On the map, on this channel. It's interactive. You let me know where you're watching from, the town and the country, and I'll try and get a few of you added onto the map throughout this entire stream. And as always, you know what to do. You let me know your opinions, your comments, fire in your super chats. Genuinely, this is the most interactive show you will get on United YouTube. So make sure you subscribe if you're new. But tomorrow's going to be a big game for Solskjaer. I'm going to be speaking about that. And I'm going to do a bit of a special today. I'm going to do a live reaction to his press conference because for me, it's an extremely important press conference for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I want to do that with you. So check out that video later on. But let's go straight into the news, eh? Brendan Rodgers, what's your immediate reaction to that? Brendan Rodgers, is he a name that should be on the list? Nobody can argue that he's not done a very good job at Leicester, but is he good enough to take Manchester United to where we want to be? That's what I'll discuss first of all in this video. Let's dive straight into the article from Mark Ogden from ESPN. Let's get it up here. All right, let's get cracking. As I said, this wasn't going to be the title of the stream this morning, but as I was making the other title and I was speaking about, is it impossible for Solskjaer to sort of resolve this divided dressing room, which we'll still discuss in this video, but it's Brendan Rodgers first and foremost on this list. Rodgers ahead of Conte in the race to replace Solskjaer. This is coming from, as I said, Mark Ogden from ESPN. Leicester City manager Brendan Rodgers is a potential replacement for Solskjaer as United manager, sources have told ESPN, with the club prepared to recruit a new manager from within the Premier League if Solskjaer is unable to turn it around. Let's go into more detail in what is going on down here. Although he remains in his job, sources have told ESPN that United are assessing alternative options in the event that of Solskjaer being unable to turn it around. So what Manchester United now are doing is called contingency planning, which Manchester United should have done a long time ago. And it's a bit like what happened with Ronald Koeman at Barcelona. It's kind of why it took him a long time to be sacked, because the club didn't know what to do. And the same thing for me is happening with Solskjaer at Manchester United, rather than simply him giving 3 games to save his job. But you know my opinion on that by now. Let's go down and see what else is being said about Rodgers. The determination within Manchester United to retain the approach of promoting youth and playing with an attractive style has led to a possible focus on domestic targets. And ESPN has been told that Rodgers has impressed senior figures at Manchester United with his work at Leicester, where he won the FA Cup last season, as well as his success at Celtic and previously at Liverpool, where he obviously nearly won the league with them in 2014 and gave us Istanbul, which was one of the most enjoyable days you're ever going to get on Twitter as a Manchester United fan. I suppose a bit like they had their day last Saturday. Sunday? It was Sunday. But with Brendan Rodgers, what's your opinion on Brendan Rodgers? If you're looking at his managerial career, let's take a quick look at that before we head down and look at the comments. He has come through. He started, was it Reading he started off at? I think it was Reading. Let's have a look. Where's all that gone? Honours. Don't show me honours. Show me the record. Gee, you stupid thing. There we go. Right. So if we're looking at where he came from, he started off, didn't start off at Reading. He came through Chelsea's reserves, went through to Watford and Reading before going into Swansea. That's where he sort of made a name for himself and got the Liverpool job off the back of that. And we know that he did certainly help improve Liverpool, but ultimately they choked and they didn't win the league. And then he went to Celtic. He won the title 2 years in a row, but then Rangers and Gerrard pumped them. And they didn't win it 3 times. Oh, no, actually, no, I might be getting that wrong. Anyway, he spent a few years, 2-3 years at Celtic. He won the league twice. And then he's gone to Leicester. And nobody can really argue that he hasn't done a good job at Leicester, right? Brendan Rodgers is a good manager. Good manager. And at Leicester, he's part of a club there that is extremely well run. Extremely well run, Leicester. A proper, well-oiled unit from top to bottom. And I think Brendan Rodgers' success there is at least in part to do with how well run that club is. The transfers they made over the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years have all just been incredible. From Conte to Mahrez to Tielemans to Maguire coming in and out. And then they've got Soyuncu in as a direct replacement and Chill. Mate, Leicester have done fantastically well. And I think over the course of the last 5 to 10 years, probably the club that has accelerated the most. Well, certainly one of them, the Premier League. So all credit to Leicester. But Brendan Rodgers, if we're looking at his success at Leicester, he's done very, very well. He's won the FA Cup last year. But if we're looking at where Rodgers has sort of dropped out a little bit, obviously failed to win the title with Liverpool back in 2014 with Suarez when it looked like it was theirs to win. And somehow, they managed to lose it. And then if we're looking at Leicester the last 2 years in the Premier League, Man United did it once. Last day of the season, we beat them to knock them out of the Champions League qualifier spots, and we took it. And then the year later, they did the same thing again. Last day of the season, and they lost that one too. So 2 years in a row in the most crucial big games there, Leicester have failed. Now, is that down to purely the manager? Is that down to you can argue that all you want, but if you're looking at those 3 failures, those twice in the Champions League qualifiers and with Liverpool in that, does that mean that that we shouldn't be looking at Brendan Rodgers as an option? Do you think that we should be looking at Brendan Rodgers as an option? You let me know down in the comments as you always do. And as always, please fire any super chats. Support the channel in any way you can. There's a big gap over there that I need to help. And one thing I will say before I head down to the comments, let me get this up here. We are heading towards the big 210. Big 210,000. There's going to be some cracking giveaways going when that happens. So make sure you subscribe to United People's TV if you're new. And something I will do right now is I'll announce this. Don't say I don't treat you well here on United People's TV. I'm going to be giving this away. Bye 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 bye. Bye. Look at that. I don't know why I did that. Going to be giving that away. That's going to be given away to members. So if anybody becomes a member on YouTube or a member on Facebook, you'll be automatically entered into that draw to win that. I'll probably choose that in a week or two. Undecided. It will apply to existing members as well. So don't worry, you're not going to get counted out. It's not just for new members. But if you want to be in with a chant, that's not from the Mega Store, by the way. But it's very, very good. I have to admit, it's incredible. So don't worry, this hasn't gone. There's no money going into the pockets of the Glazers here. As you can see, I've got some other ones up there. I've got the 93 black away kit for Cantona. I've got the 84 away kit. It's lovely. But if you're a member, you'll get entered into the draw to win that. If you're on Facebook, there's a link in the description of this video. Just go there, hit support, join the channel. I really love the membership, the member community that is being built on United People's TV. You're helping make that even bigger and better. And this is my way of giving back to you. And trust me, there's going to be so many giveaways on this channel between now and New Year's that you really want to be part of this community. So I would encourage that. And subscribe if you're new. Why not? But let's go down here, look at the comments, and let me see what you're saying about Manchester United and Brendan Rodgers. Because I'll be honest, I think this is going to split United fans a lot. Obviously, Antonio Conte is the man that we've been linked with the most. And I'll go into a little video I did yesterday on Brendan Rodgers. I basically took a look at Manchester United's potential formation and style and tactics under Conte. And he's not the only manager I'm going to do it for. As I said when I did that video, I didn't do that video in any sort of disrespectful way to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Although some of you, right, if you want to see it that way, fair enough. But I took a look at how Conte could line United up because I think it's important for us to actually take a look and as fans have a proper understanding of which manager might suit us the best because the club might not be able to plan going forward, but it doesn't mean that I can't. It doesn't mean that we can't. And therefore, I'm going to take a look at Conte. I'm going to take a look at Zidane. I'm going to take a look at Ten Hag. And maybe after today, after these stories, maybe I'm going to have to take a look at Brendan Rodgers as well. But let me go down to the comments and see what your opinion. Fire in your comments on Brendan Rodgers. Let me know what you think. Why are you talking about Rodgers, Sam? Says Apex. You're embarrassing United. LFC fans don't want him. Why am I talking about him? I'm not sure, mate. It might be because ESPN is saying that he's on the shortlist of ahead of Conte. Simple as that. That's why I'm looking at him. John, what are you saying, sir? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Rodgers and Ten Hag are interesting, but at well-run clubs. United are not well-run. Conte not a fun manager, but will win things. And I do think that's something that we have to say there about Brendan Rodgers. I think I've just said there myself, but Leicester are an extremely well-run club. And Leicester, I think Brendan Rodgers has benefited from that massively, from the sustained support that he's got in the background that allows him to simply focus on the football and what's going on, because everything behind the scenes is running as it should be. And that's a big fear that all United fans should have. It's a big fear that I've got for sure as well. That and it's a big thing that we've suffered from Van Gaal, from Mourinho, and Solskjaer have all had to suffer and struggle with how the club is run behind the scenes. And does that mean that Rodgers would befall the same fate at Manchester United? It's something certainly worth thinking about. Surab saying, let's talk about the elephant in the room. If you have a meeting with Ole this afternoon, what 5 things you've got for him? Let's be brutal and talk about it. That's a huge thing to do, Surab. I won't be answering that just yet. Maybe we can have a discussion about that later on. As a comment there, actually, no, there's a new member. Look at that. And, it's not a new member. It's and there he is. He's finally become a member of the channel. Hey, so what happens when you get a CR7 shirt? And trust me, when I say I've got a lot of giveaways coming, and I'm not even lying that as a sort of lure to bring you in. There are a lot of giveaways coming. It's my way of giving back to you on the channel, on YouTube and on Facebook, importantly as well. So if you're on Facebook, make sure you go into the description of the video. There's a little link there. Boom, come through and join the likes of Gary in the chat. Let me go down here and let me see, as I said, fire in your opinions now on Brendan Rodgers. I'll read through 5 or 6 of them, all right? And don't just say yes or no to Brendan Rodgers. Just kind of say why you want Brendan Rodgers or why you don't want Brendan Rodgers. And I can read those out. I can. You're saying that Rodgers looks like a Moyes, good with an average team. I mean, I wouldn't call Leicester an average team. I would say Leicester are a very, very good team. I would say Leicester as a team have been better than Manchester United for a good few years now. A good few years. And that's not me just exaggerating. It's absolutely the case. Absolutely the case. Rodgers, and Creighton, you're saying the same thing. Rodgers reminds me too much of Moyes. Maybe a lot of you are scarred by that concept of a domestic manager coming into Manchester United. Can he take that step up to the next level? But he's already been at Liverpool. Like them or lump them, Liverpool are a massive football club, and so are Manchester United. And he did do a very good job there. Obviously, he failed at the ultimate hurdle, which was winning the Premier League, and that will be a big concern that a lot of you have. But let's go down here and let's read your comments. You're saying, Bahadir, you're saying just straight no because of his links to Liverpool. Ian, you're saying 1, he's ex-Liverpool, 2, he couldn't win at Liverpool, who are well run, and 3, he's ex-Liverpool. I think you're a little bit annoyed he's ex-Liverpool. T, you're saying some say he's a risk, but isn't everybody at this point? Personally, I pass on him and Conte. Now, everybody is a risk. You're right there. Everybody's a risk. And when you've got a club that's run like Manchester United run, everybody will be a risk. Simple as that. Whether that's Conte coming in, whether that's Zidane coming in. And I've said this to you before, and I'll repeat it now. Whether it's Conte, Zidane, Ten Hag, Rodgers, anybody in the world, they're all going to have compromises and risks associated with them. There is not one. I think if, like, by comparison, if Barcelona fans are looking at Xavi, they'll obviously see the risks of bringing a manager in who doesn't have the experience in. But as far as pretty much every Barcelona fan is concerned, they are all going to be like, tick, 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 tick. Xavi is perfect for Barcelona. I don't really think there's a manager in the world right now who all Manchester United fans could unite behind and say he is perfect. Tick, 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 tick. And I think no matter who it is, there will be whoever the manager coming in to replace Solskjaer, everyone's going to have semi-concerns about him. Whether it's his abrasive nature in Conte, or whether it's the fact that he's only managed in the Eredivisie with Ten Hag, or whether it's the fact that he failed to win the title with Liverpool if it's Rodgers, or whether it's as I said, with Zidane, the fact that he failed the second time, maybe he's only. I don't really know what the biggest drawbacks about Zidane are. You can let me know about that in the comments. I'll probably do that when I look in a bit more depth into what he is, what his style and formation is. Iriano, it's Torres. Good to see you back. Conte is Mourinho Part 2. I'm going to be doing, as I said, I'm going to be doing a collab with Italian Football TV when they get around to it, hopefully soon. Speaking about Conte, finding out from Inter Milan fans' point of view exactly what they think about Conte, exactly whether or not he was Mourinho Part 2 or not. Jake's on Facebook. You're saying no way to Rodgers. Give us a better coach like Zidane and United would arise again. Gee, it sounds like 300. Potters and Brendan says Matter will give the players a good coaching experience. They're very tactical managers, but the problem is the board. Will they let Brendan or Potters drop Greenwood or Ronaldo? Now, when it comes to players being dropped or players being in the team, I don't think that has anything to do with the board. But what you're correct in there, in what you're saying, is Brendan Rodgers is an extremely good coach. Graham Potter is obviously an extremely good coach. You watch that Brighton team, even when players drop in and drop out, that team plays very similar. That team's very, very well coached, very well drilled. The players know what they're expecting when they go into that training session every single day, and they play a certain way. And with Leicester, I mean, look, we saw it we've not just seen it in the 4-2. Every single time we played Leicester over the last few years, it's a very, very difficult game now. I thought Leicester were going to fall off a cliff after they won the league. I thought Leicester were going to win the league and then disappear off the face of the earth, a bit like Blackburn. And they haven't. Leicester have sort of cemented themselves inside a top 6. And that's all credit to how that club is run, how they managed to cope after selling Kante, after selling Mahrez, after selling Maguire. Still got Schmeichel, of course. And they've done well. They've done extremely well. So Leicester, as I said, is an extremely well-run club. And I think that's probably I would say probably a big part of how Brendan Rodgers has been able to be successful at that club because of how well run it is. Aguils, you're saying the club, Aguils, I probably just annihilated your name there, sorry. It's run so badly. We could have gone for Ole and Conte in on Monday, but no, we wasted our time. We can't decide on a manager. The board is divided on who will come in next. And I'll actually go into that and I'll look a little bit further down in that ESPN article and we'll discuss that now. We know that that's why Conte hasn't come in. There's a fear of his abrasive nature, and there's a fear inside the board that they will lose power because Conte will demand autonomy, and autonomy means that you've just got complete control. It's like a dictatorship. It's like my voice is the voice, rather than the committee system that the club has introduced under Solskjaer. And they'll lose that if they go to Conte, and that's for me is a big reason why they haven't done it. Comment here from Shivam. How you doing, Shivam? The only benefit of having Rodgers is that it may make it easier to get players like Ndidi or Tielemans to United. But there are doubts he will be able to command a dressing room with Ronaldo, Pogba and co. As I said, look, I don't really particularly think that there are any doubts about, in my opinion, I don't think there's any doubts that he could control that room. He did control that room at Liverpool and they did have some serious names and serious faces inside that dressing room. Ultimately, they failed at the end, but I think that's probably because of 30 years of not winning the league, just as much as it was about Brendan Rodgers not being able to get them over the line as the manager. Glass half full sort of approach to that. I don't think he'd struggle. I mean, I'm sure Erik Ten Hag, if you're looking at all the managers we're linked with, Conte can handle names. Conte can handle egos. Conte can handle everything. He's won 4 Scudettos. He's won the Premier League. He's won the title in 2 countries. He's won it in different eras. He's won it with 3 different teams. He is a fantastic manager with a fantastic record. And he's a manager who's not past his prime. It's not like Mourinho coming in and you're like, I hope we get the old sort. It's just like Conte's Conte. And you know exactly what you're going to get. That's why for a lot of people, you think about that. Iriana, what are you saying? Sam, care to touch on what happened to our style of play when Ole was interim compared to now? When he was interim, we saw lots of attacking football. But now what you're talking about there, Iriana, is the new manager boost, we called it. The post-sacking buzz. Man United in that 3 months were just happy to be playing football again. Happy to not be under Mourinho. And the players were like kids. The players were playing like kids, like that, a complete lack of responsibility, but in a positive way. You know, when that's the exuberance you get of youth team players when they come in and they seem to have no fear compared to the more established senior players. And that's why sometimes seeing academy players coming through just gives you such a refreshing look on football. I think that was the same case with what happened post Mourinho with Solskjaer in that interim. Let's have a look. 815 people watch, only 124 likes, says Ant. Come on, people. It's Friday. Hit that subscribe button as well. Let's see if we can get to what we're at now. We're nearly, and as I said, remember, I said there was going to be a big giveaway at 210,000. And we are only a couple of hundred short of it now. We are at 209,731. Let's try and get to 209,800 by the end of this stream. Come on. I'm sure there's 60 of you watching that aren't subscribed. What are you doing, first of all? Second of all, hit that subscribe button. Get involved. I'll be here at 1:30 doing a live reaction to today's press conference because it's a big one today. It's a really big one today. And I wrote an article on the People's Person this morning. Obviously, you read that. I mean, why wouldn't you? Well, you haven't got anything better to do apart from everything. I wrote an article on this morning on the People's Person saying, look, this is such a big day because it's the first time Solskjaer has met the press post Liverpool. And I drew comparisons between the build-up for Steve Bruce's game against Spurs and what he had to deal with. And there's similarities that Solskjaer's had to deal with. I don't think Solskjaer will be as feisty. I don't think he'll bite as much as Steve Bruce did. Steve Bruce said that I hope all of you basically get sacked from your job. I hope all of you just get angry. I hope all of you get your bosses like slamming down on you because you got it wrong. I'm in charge. And obviously you got sacked after. But Solskjaer, there's been so much story, so much everything in the press this week about Solskjaer being sacked, and he's still in the job. So it'll be interesting. That's why, look, I think quite a lot of you would like me to do more of the live press conference reactions, and maybe I will. Today's going to be the first one. So if you really do want it, make sure you watch that video and make sure you like it as well. A giveaway today if we hit 210. Well, if we hit 210 today, then why not? Hey, why not? I'll organise a giveaway if we can hit 210 today. So if you haven't subscribed, bit my lip. Don't you hate it when you bite your lip when you're eating, and all of a sudden you just go, blah, blah. If we do hit 210k today, we'll organise that giveaway. Of course we will. Let's go up here. Mohammed, how you doing, buddy? What are you saying? Ole will be sacked after the City game, and Nicky Butt will replace him until the end of the season. Ten Hag or Poch will replace him. Pogba, Mbappe, and Zidane next. I mean, you really are good. Gary, you're saying I'm subscribed, but YouTube only good for watching videos of cats. You are, sir. You are. That is OG YouTube user there in Gary. Cat videos. I used to love the cat videos. The press conference today, by the way, is at 1:30, ladies and gentlemen. Let me head down to the comments here to see what you're saying. Big Sam Allardyce for manager. A curious question there. Someone that, as I said, Nicky Butt for an interim manager. That's a bit of a curveball. Who would you say, speaking hypothetically, who do you actually think would be or could be a good interim manager for Manchester United? We're talking about the sort of longer term ones. We're talking about, if you're talking about Rodgers, if you're talking about Zidane, if you're talking about Conte, you're talking about Ten Hag. They're managers that you're looking for Manchester United to have for the next few years. If we were to, for example, wait until the end of the season before we appointed that new proper manager, then who comes in as interim between now and then? Who comes in on a short-term 6, 7, 8 month contract and does the job well? It's not just about bringing a face in. It's about bringing a face in who could actually do a good job. Chris, morning to you. You just subscribed. Good luck on that giveaway. I'm looking forward to it, man. Honestly, you're going to be dead excited about all the giveaways I've got going. Seriously. But I'm going to go down here and let me see what you think about interim managers. Richard Daly is obviously coming with the straight humour and Big Sam. Eddie Howe says Shiam. Whackim. Is it Joe Chimlo or Whackimlo? I just say it because of Whacking Phoenix. I'm going to go Joe Chimlo. Blanc, that's another name. Roy Keane, Phelan, Laurent Blanc, Ryan Giggs, Mark Hughes, Michael Carrick. What else we got down here? There are quite a lot of names. Giggs, Keane, Claudio Ranieri. Isn't he Watford now? I think he is. So we'll play him very soon. Zidane, Keane, Rodgers, Nicky Butt, Gary Neville. Nope. I don't know. I don't think, and that's a big part of it. And I'll actually pull up the thing I'm talking. Where is that comment gone? There it is. Gary, you're stuck on my screen. That's actually a big reason why Manchester United have not sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let me pull up this part of the article so I can show you what I'm speaking about. This is from ESPN. Where is it when it says this? There you go. Right there. A lack of credible interim appointments proved to be a key factor in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer staying in charge this week. But the United hierarchy are prepared to dismiss him if the team continues to underperform and the next 2 games are crucial in his prospects of surviving. Now, this is something I've maintained all week long, is my opinion that Manchester United, a huge reason that we haven't sacked Solskjaer. The main reason we haven't sacked Solskjaer is not because we want to give him another chance. It's because we don't know what's coming next. The club doesn't know or feel that there is a credible interim appointment. The club doesn't know who his actual long-term replacement will be. Both of these should have been discussed and planned in contingency plans, but the club didn't do that. And now the house is burning. They're trying to put it out whilst it's burning instead of the other way around. We're being reactive rather than proactive. And Manchester United as a football club, that is a habit that we've built over the last at least 5 years or so. And it's bad. It's very, very bad. But yeah, lack of credible interim appointments. So you all there mentioning Keane, Blanc, Giggs, Carrick, Phelan, Big Sam. The club hasn't deemed any of them, hasn't deemed any of them suitable enough for that role. And it goes to show the lack of faith, in my opinion, that the club really does have in Mike Phelan, in Michael Carrick, and in Kieran McKenna. Otherwise, they would have done that. It's a bit like giving it Giggs to the end of the season. The club did that. They're not doing it now and giving it to Mike Phelan, are they? Manoil, you finally joined as a member. One of the OGs on the channel. Welcome aboard. Hopefully you win the CR7 shirt if you're very, very lucky. But what I would say is don't worry if you don't win this one, because trust me, there are a lot of giveaways coming. And that's the only spoiler I'm going to give you. Gary, Big Sam comes in and I'm off. I'm off as well. I'm off far, far away from Manchester United. Of course it's not going to be Big Sam. Jeez, come on. But just imagine it was. I'm smiling on that because it's so implausible. But just imagine it was. Right, what I'll do now before I move on, we'll head over to the interactive map, baby. You let me know where you're watching from. Drop in your town and your country so I know exactly where you're watching from, and I'll add a couple of you onto the map. And if you really want to get onto the map, fire it in a super chat because I can't ignore them. But it's Friday. It's interactive day. We always bring it back. I used to do this every single stream, but people are like, Sam, man, all you do on every stream is get the map up. It's because I got excited because everyone wanted to be on the map. But now we do it on a Friday, and we always keep it to Fridays, even if you don't have that Friday feeling. Matthew saying, do you think Rodgers would suit us? I could see a lot of reasons why Rodgers would suit us, but I also see a lot of reasons why Rodgers might not be the manager who can really take us to that top table. And that's ultimately what this appointment has to be. I think Rodgers could do a lot of good at Manchester United. He's a very good coach. He's very good tactically. He's clearly good at man managing. He's good at keeping stability inside a club. There's plenty of reasons why Rodgers could be a good manager. And then, of course, he's got ex-Liverpool. He's linked to there. And I don't mean that in a positive way. And then he's failed to win the league with Liverpool in 2014. And then he's failed to get into the top 4 twice in the last 2 years. There are reasons good. There are pros and cons to every manager. And I think in the situation that Manchester United have at the moment, I think there's quite a lot of cons with Brendan Rodgers. I think so anyway. What's in that bottle, Sam? Vodka? Well, Gary, you'll never, ever know. And if I'm drinking vodka now, well, you'll never know. Maybe I'll start slurring my words and I think you probably would know. Let's go down and look at the comments. Oh, look at that. Mike, you're coming on the map, sir. Because we definitely don't have anybody from Limassol in Cyprus. Welcome aboard, sir. I am not jealous of the fact that you are in Cyprus and I'm stuck in miserable England today. I hope you don't get sunburnt. I'm maybe being sarcastic. I'm not going to wish sunburn on you. But right, you're on the map, sir. Let's see who else we can get on the map. We have got David from Queensland in the land of Oz. In you go, sir. Queensland, Oz. All right, on you go there. And we'll get one more on and then we'll head into the next story. And trust me, it's a busy old stream today. It's Friday. It's interactive. You know the drill by now. Drop a like on the video and subscribe. Let's get one more on here. And who have we got? Oh, have we got Paula? There you go. Hello, Paula. Watching from Belfast. I've got a ton of family up in the Northern Ireland. All my family's from Derry, actually. But Belfast on the map. Welcome aboard, Paula. Lovely to have you as a member and lovely to have you on the map. Make sure, I know something I will say to all members as well. If you remember on YouTube or on Facebook, check out the private group on Facebook and check out the community tab on YouTube. There's a link to the members WhatsApp group in there. There's 50, 60 of us already in there. I'd love to get every single member inside that group. So if you would, check it out. Or mods, if you can share I know you can't really share the invite link because then you share it to everyone. But great to have you all on board. I love how this community is building. But let's move on to the next talking point, eh? And as I said, Antonio Conte is a man who, for so many of you, you want him as Manchester United's next manager. I thought this was an interesting stat. If you look at Juve, before Conte came in, the season before, they finished 7th. The season Conte came in, they won the title. If you're looking at Inter, they were 4th before he came in, and in his second season, he won the title. If you're looking at Chelsea, they finished 10th the season before he came in. He came in, they won the title. Is that really what happened? 10th to the title? Jesus Christ. That's unbelievable. Is that when Mourinho was sacked? I think it was Mourinho was sacked. My word. Conte, you can't argue with that record. And what I did yesterday, and as I said, I didn't do this in a disrespectful way. I did this in a forward-thinking sort of way. I'm not going to sit here now and watch Solskjaer's demise and not plan for what could come next, because I may do these videos and then Solskjaer may absolutely crush the next 3 games, win 5-0, and every single one of them won't happen. Keep his job, and then Manchester United steam forward and win it all. I don't think it's going to happen. But if it did, all these videos are simply just, this is my contingency planning. I can't have a go at Manchester United doing no contingency planning if I'm not going to do any here on the channel. So what I did is I took a look at the video on Conte. If you haven't watched it, I'll drop a link in the comments now. There we go. Boom. For this video there, I've just dropped the link in the description. This is me taking a look at Conte's style and tactics at Inter Milan, and then applying that to this Manchester United squad and seeing where everybody fits in. And this is what I came up with. So if we're looking at the back 5 there with De Gea, Lindelof, Maguire, and Varane, with Shaw and Wan-Bissaka as the wing backs. And in this formation, it's those wing backs that are the biggest question marks, because you may well see Luke Shaw dropping into a 3rd centre back, and then Telles going there as a left back. You may also see Sancho being the right wing back, because as you can see in the formation, there's no real space for Sancho inside a Conte system. Midfield, Matic is still the biggest question, because you need that deep line playmaker rather than an Ndidi role. That's not what Conte plays with. He plays with a deeper line playmaker, a la De Rossi with the international team at Italy, or with Pirlo. Neither of them are sort of defensive powerhouses, but they're deep line playmakers, with Pogba and Fernandes in front of him, and then Rashford and Ronaldo up front. It's mad. It's mad how much attacking quality and talent that United have, and for a lot of United fans, that's the reason why Conte doesn't make sense. You're switching to a team that's going to focus with 5 at the back when our defense is that bad and we've got so much quality going forward. It's interesting, but that's why I did that video. I won't dwell on it too much, but I did that video so we could take a look and try to understand better how Manchester United could genuinely line up if Conte was to come in. And as I said, it's the first in a series. I'm going to do one on Zinedine Zidane. I'm going to do one on Erik Ten Hag. And maybe after today, I should be doing one on Brendan Rodgers. And if there's any other managers you think I should be looking at, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Nayan, you're saying Brendan Rodgers, class, never mind the big name managers. I mean, as I said, Brendan Rodgers is a manager who is he's got a very good record. I won't disagree with that whatsoever. Whether or not he's the right sort of manager for Manchester United, that's questionable. Now, something here that I saw this morning that I really wanted to speak about, and this is Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney came and did an interview, and he spoke about Manchester United's issues. I thought he raised a couple of decent points. So I'm going to take a look at what Wayne Rooney said. Let me see how we're doing in the old subscribers, how we're getting towards. We are getting we were 48 away. We can do this today, ladies and gents. Let's hit that 209. Let's hit 800. We need 48 more of you to hit that subscribe button. I know there's hundreds of you watching, and I know all of you aren't subscribed. So come on, take 2 seconds out. Get your thumb if you're watching on your phone. Boop, hit that subscribe button. On your computer, get your mouse. Boop, hit that subscribe button. Get involved. And trust me, the giveaways that we're going to be doing on this channel, as well as, the actual good content, but the giveaways are nice too. You want to be part of the community. Trust me. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. Call it insider information, because, well, it is insider information. But let's take a look at what Wayne Rooney had to say, because this is quite an important interview. Right. Let's run through his comments. This is Wayne Rooney. There is a big responsibility on those United players. They are world-class international players, and a club like Manchester United need more. These players need to be hurt, need to feel when you lose games how much it hurts you. I suppose like us fans have. And this is the big point here. Wayne Rooney, I'm seeing too many players not willing to run back, not willing to defend, and not willing to put everything on the line for Manchester United, and that's not acceptable. Are you telling me that's the manager's fault or the player's fault? I don't know. Now, Wayne Rooney, I'm not sure there's a better example of somebody in our modern history who gave 110% every single time he played. Wayne Rooney was an absolute terrier. He was unstoppable. Prime Rooney was incredible. I fell out of Rooney because of what happened with him and Fergie. I backed Fergie and I dismissed Rooney for a good few years. And I kind of regret that as a United fan, if I'm being completely honest. I think I looked at him through a different sort of lens because I supported everything that Fergie was saying over Rooney, and when Rooney tried to move to City, and it wasn't pretty, really, was it? Towards the end, it wasn't pretty. But Rooney in his prime, man, he survived. If you're looking at the strikers that came in and out of Manchester United, we had Van Nistelrooy, we had Ronaldo, if you want to cast him as a striker, we had Van Persie, we had all these players that came and played alongside Rooney, and Rooney was the only player. Rooney was the only player Berbatov was the only player who survived through all of them. That was no luck. That was because Wayne Rooney was incredible. And Julian, you're saying Rooney is saying it correctly, and I don't think anybody would really disagree. Jordan, you're saying Rooney wanted out twice. So as I said, that's why I sort of semi fell out with Wayne Rooney, and my relationship. I didn't have an actual relationship with Rooney. Just clarify that. But my feelings towards him were skewed by what happened. But he's not wrong there, is he? You know, passion. Solskjaer talks about energy and passion. And I know he sounds like a dick when he says that, right? But he's right. He's right. Because it doesn't matter how good you are at football, man. The basic, simple rule is if the other team works harder than you, they will probably get more opportunities than you. They will probably get more of the ball than you. They'll definitely get all the second balls. They'll just be first to more things than you on the pitch simply because they're working harder. So while hard work is not the measure of any great team in football, without hard work, you cannot be a great team. And that's the thing that Manchester United certainly have lacked for a long, long time. And until that is sort of resolved, I don't know what's going to happen there. That's an interesting one there from Ian, saying I could see Rooney as an interim manager. Derby could use a few quid too. Seems like a win-win. Let me know what you think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Rooney, that's the first time Rooney's name's been thrown out as an interim manager. Would Rooney do it? Would Rooney really come into a club that's sort of I don't think that would suit Rooney's career, if I'm being completely honest. He's more likely to fail than he would be to succeed. And he would only come in on like a 7-8 month contract, and then he's out of a job at Derby and he's out of a job everywhere else. He's actually stuck at Derby throughout everything they're doing with their administration as well. Paul, you're saying Ole talks passion, yet shows none himself. That's fair, but I won't really slate Solskjaer too much for his persona on the touchline. That's his personality. Let's have a look. Rooney's a Derby manager. Interesting concept, says T. He's already at a club in chaos, says Ian. Well, that's not wrong. But I don't personally think that Rooney would leave Derby, and I don't think United would go to Rooney either. Moving on here, Rooney says the players at United have to question themselves. It's too easy for the manager to take all the stick when those players are being paid a lot of money to do the job, and I don't think they're doing it well enough. United are going through a difficult period, a difficult couple of weeks, and obviously there's pressure on Ole. Everyone can see that. Did he say anything else? I know Ole, and he's a fighter. He'll keep doing the right things, believing in what he believes in, and trying to get more out of those players. The Liverpool game wasn't easy to watch, but that's football. Blah, blah, blah. Don't need to talk about that. Let's not talk about the Liverpool game. That didn't exist. Rooney on whether to sack Ole. Whatever decision they make, they'll feel it's the right decision. What I know is you can't just bow down to what the press want or what the fans want. I'm sure they have a plan in place, whether it's with or without Ole. They will come out and speak on that or make decisions at the right time. I'm sure they are educated people at the top of Man United. They will be looking at everything to see how they move forward in the near future, whether that's with or without Ole. So Rooney here saying, look, I've got no questions that Manchester United are planning. Rooney here thinking there that Manchester United's board are educated. I mean, they are educated. It's just they're educated in the wrong sort of sense for what we need as a football club. So I kind of would disagree with what Rooney is saying there. But I think it's obvious for the fact that we haven't sacked Solskjaer in the fallout to the game against Liverpool, because it was just, if we had a plan in place, it would have been unequivocally sacked. Simple as that. The fact we don't have a plan is simply the fact that he hasn't been sacked is because we don't have a plan, sorry. And this delay that's happening is because of that too. A couple of comments here firing in. Rory, nice to see you this morning as always. If that's what Rooney thinks, if that's what Rooney thinks when he sees what's happening on the pitch, then he should be kept as far away from United as possible. And someone else said no to Rooney, out of the frying pan into the fire. Everyone loves. What's that? Analogy? That's not an analogy. Can't remember the name of it. Anyway, Rooney saying don't listen to fans. Well, that is what he's saying. Paula, what are you saying here? Sam, have you heard about the Newcastle owners wanting to sign Ten Hag for big money to stop United getting him? I have seen that. I suppose we've got to be a little bit happy that Barcelona are going after Xavi because it means the opportunity for Ten Hag is there at the end of the season. And that's a question I'll ask you right now. If you were given a choice, choose this one. This will be a hard question. Thank you very much. Word left my head. If you were given the choice of choosing between getting Conte in now and keeping him for the next few years, 2 years, and seeing what happened with Conte, that's your number one. Number two, getting an interim manager and then getting Ten Hag in the summer. Which one are you choosing? Which one are you going for? Conte now or Solskjaer/interim until the end of the season and then Ten Hag in the summer? Which one do you think Manchester United should do if they're your two choices? Because they're two very different paths. Ultimately, they're both geared towards getting the ultimate goal of Manchester United to win the Premier League and the Champions League. They're two different paths to get there. I'll be very interested to know which one of those you would choose as a United fan because they're two distinctly different options. I'm going to head down to the comments here and see what you think here. Let's go. Right, that's a really good question. Just want to congratulate myself on the quality of that question. Owen, you're saying Ten Hag. Billy, you're saying Ten Hag. Klein, you're saying Ten Hag. Ula, you're saying Conte. Victor, Conte in for me. He'll win things with this squad 100%. Bashir, you're saying Ten Hag. Ten Hag. Jason. Anuj. And you're all saying Ten Hag. Not everyone's saying Ten Hag. Andy, you're saying Conte's a strong character. He's needed to steady the ship. But Paula, you're saying Ten Hag in the summer, 100% after an interim. But you got to cheat. Look, I would say if I'm looking down there, I'm saying probably like a 75-25 split between a lot of you would rather we get an interim manager now and then we get Ten Hag in the summer. So maybe there's a conversation that we're not really having, right? Because if we're talking, all we're really focusing on right now is who's going to replace Solskjaer. We're talking about Conte as the main option. We're talking about Zinedine Zidane as another option. We're talking about Brendan Rodgers as another option now. They're three replacements, I suppose, you're getting now, and that's it. Leicester, obviously, with Brendan Rodgers, it will cost money, but you could still get that. But maybe if we're looking at Ten Hag as maybe the ultimate managerial choice that we have available to us in the current market, maybe we should be having more conversations really about the right interim manager who could come in, who would do a job for the next 8 months and be happy to simply just pass that on to Ten Hag. Because it's very, very difficult to find someone for that would be suitable. And I know a lot of you have thrown around some names here. We've thrown around Keane and Neville and Phelan and Fletcher and Carrick and Giggs and Steve Bruce and Big Sam. It's a very, very difficult thing to find the right sort of interim manager. If Ten Hag is the same, if Ten Hag is the right option anyway. Zidane isn't an option, says Jonathan. No desire to come to England. I do think that is probably the case, if I'm being completely honest, from everything we've seen. It's sort of like in the same way that Conte and the reports came out and exploded about him being linked with the United job. It was at the same time as Zidane was getting moved away from the job with all the reports that were coming out from like the likes of Julian Laurens from ESPN. It didn't seem like he's interested in that whatsoever. Sack, your background is either lopsided. I'm working on it, Mike. I know that needs to be a little bit turned. I've had to move that away. I need to get a shelf put up there. I need to get something else put into that space there. It's a work in progress, right? As you can see, it's all nice and done here. But look at that. Nice Fergie books. Got the little there. Lovely. But I just need something a little bit more over here. Don't worry. And as I said, that's why the PO box is open. If any of you have got something, got an idea that you think you could help and improve the set, send it into the PO box. As I said, I've opened that PO box as a way to really make this a proper community channel. I'm going to try and get a shelf over there to put on stuff that you send in to me, no matter what it is. Well, actually, it does matter what it is because I'm not going to put dildos up there. But you send in whatever you want to the channel. I thought it would be a cool way for you to get a little bit more involved. As I said, I want to try and build this into a proper community channel. I thought that would be a fun way of doing it. So if you want to send anything to that PO box, I'm going to go collect it once a week. Maybe I'll go tomorrow, see if anybody sent anything in. You need to get a job, says Adrian. Well, thank you very much, mate. Work in progress like United. Exactly, Aussie. I'm just reflecting Manchester United as a football club. Very accurate. Very, very accurate, which also means probably will never get finished. Ikra, I don't recommend sending me your wife. I don't think she'll like it, right? Fergie for 6 months. I can see that being linked as well. I don't know why that comment made me laugh. Hit that like you're slapping glazes on their baldy heads. No offense to bald people. No offense to bald people. Adrian, are you Paul Scholes' son? No, I'm not. Is it Az? I think it's Az. Although, a little bit red. A little bit red. Big jar of jelly beans. Could throw them at the screen at the most stupid comment, says Jonathan. That's not the worst idea in the world. And also, big fan of jelly beans. Although sometimes you get right shit ones in there, don't you? A dartboard with Neville on it. That's what I mean. There's good ideas you're all throwing at me here. Send it to the PO box. And then I might do that as sort of like I want to start doing different sorts of streams as well here on United People's TV. I might do sort of a Sunday call-in show. I want to start doing the evening shows, but I don't just want to repeat the show from the morning. The morning's all about the news and this sort of conversation. And maybe the evening shows can be something slightly different. You can fire your ideas in the comments, and please fire your ideas over to me on Twitter at @SamPeoples_. Best United channel says, Chris, please mind the language so younger viewers can watch. I try and avoid swearing wherever possible, but I can't lie. Sometimes they do creep out. Not going to lie. I don't do it too often, though. But sometimes I just can't help it. Ian, you'll be getting something today in the PO box. You can have a competition to name it. Well, that sounds a bit ominous, but we'll have a look. We'll have a look. What I'll do here is everybody if you have any questions, anything about the Manchester United news, it's going to be a busy day here on United People's TV. We've done this live stream this morning. I'm going to be doing my predicted 11 that's going to go out later today. And also I'm going to be live at 1:30, taking a look at the reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. The first time I've ever done that. Quite a lot of you have wanted me to do that. So I'm going to start doing that. Simple as that. But how are we doing? Are we going to hit the 800 by the end of the stream? Let's have a look. We're getting close. We're getting close. Unless there's 30, we've got 32 people. All we need is 30 people. Hit that subscribe button. And I know there's going to be 30 of you that aren't subscribed that are watching. Just take your fingers away. Boom, boom. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. Get involved. And what I'll do is, as I said, I'll head down to the comments for the last few minutes and we can have a quick discussion. Paul, what are you saying here, sir? I think Ole's biggest mistake was putting his trust in the inexperienced Carrick and McKenna, and quite possibly Phelan too. Now, with Mike Phelan, what I've maintained all along, Mike Phelan was an excellent appointment for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the first couple of years. I think if you're looking at the good work that Solskjaer did, I believe Phelan was a big part of that. But what we've seen since is the fact that Mike Phelan simply isn't doing enough as Manchester United's assistant manager. That's simple. And yeah, if you're looking at Carrick and McKenna, who both, remember, they came along post Mourinho. They were there with Mourinho too. They simply haven't proven themselves enough, and they haven't grown enough as coaches in their time at Manchester United to sustain their own positions. Julian, I subscribe to YouTube. Well, good for you, my man. Nice to see you here. Victorim, Sam, did you see Woodward might be staying at United now? I did see that, Victorim, and I threw up in my mouth off camera. Woodward, he's obviously should be leaving at the end of this calendar year. We're seeing he might be staying until April. There's no confirmation on that just yet. So I'm going to bite my tongue before I react to that. But Richard Arnold is being lined up as his replacement anyways, which is effectively Woodward V2. The backroom staff is poor. No, nobody would disagree with that. I love Patrice Evra, says Paula. Everyone loves Patrice Evra, don't they? A big up to Patrice Evra, by the way. It's a random little point there you just made there. He obviously did a story in the newspaper this week with an interview, and he was sort of speaking about how he was sexually abused when he was younger, I believe, by a former was it a former coach? Was it a teacher? And Evra speaking out about that is incredibly important because it might empower somebody else to speak out when they don't feel they can speak out. And if you remember that video that I did on United People's TV was it last year now, where I kind of spoke out about my last 18 months up until that point and what I've been struggling with, because everyone was struggling. Lockdown sort of exposed a lot of mental frailties of the human complex. I believe. And yeah, for me personally, it was really, really, really mad. So the reason I did that video was to help others. So that's why I appreciated whatever did with that interview that he did. Imole, you just subscribed on YouTube. You made the right choice here this morning. Rio is interim just because nobody mentioned him, says Save the Jungle. Well, can't rule him out. If you're going to be naming the likes of Rooney, Phelan, Giggs, Carrick, you may as well get Silvestrian. You may as well get everybody. Dennis Irwin, I reckon he could do a job. Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce. Look, I'll wrap it up today before we start waffling. But thank you very much for all joining in. Fridays are a little bit more different, a little bit more relaxed. We should probably do some like Ask Me Anything sort of streams, maybe for members only. It's another reason to join as a member. Remember what I said earlier, right? If you are new to United People's TV and you want to be in with a chance of winning this bad boy, don't worry. I didn't buy it from the mega store, but it's a hell of a shirt. I'll tell you that. We're doing giveaways on here, and that I'm doing this giveaway for members only. So if you want to be in with a chance of win that, hit join on YouTube, and it applies to all members, not just new ones. But if you want to be in with a chance with it and you're not a member, hit that join button down below, and on Facebook as well. There's a little link in the description of this video. Hit that. It's like a few quid a month, and that's it. It's your way of supporting the channel, helping me get stuff like this so I can do giveaways for you. As I said, anything that's coming into the channel, I put back into the channel. Simple as that. But thank you very much for the Victorium. Yeah, this one is for members only. I'll do different sorts of giveaway. I'm doing this one for members only because I want to give back to the members, because the members have been fantastic, and it's building a really, really core part of this community. So it's my way to give back to the members and say thank you to all the members. But look, I hope you enjoyed this live stream this morning. I'm going to be back here at 1:30. I think 1:30, maybe a little bit later, 1:45, something like that, between 1:30 and 1:45, with a reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of Spurs, because I want to hear what his reaction is to the last week. I want to hear what he says. Want to hear what he says about his future, about his sacking, about what team he's going to use this weekend. It's going to be a really, really interesting one. All right. So make sure you check. Make sure you subscribe to United People's TV if you want to see that later on. Thank you very much for everybody joining in, supporting, all your comments, all the new members, and on Facebook too. I'll be here later, and my predicted 11 today. It's going to be a busy day, and then we play Spurs tomorrow, and we probably lose, but you never know. We might win. Fingers crossed we win. Take it easy, everyone, and I'll speak to you soon.